They won without Bob last night, which is why John Tortorella, sitting now as the winningest U.S. coach, with 600 wins. You can see he's the 19th all-time winningest coach in NHL history. Has that cup back in 2004 with the Tampa Bay Lightning. Hartsey, you played with him and under him for 2.5 years. When he left here, he was literally sitting next to us one night, took a phone call, and he was gone the next day. Office was cleaned out. What was that like when Torts came in to Columbus and took over that team? What was that like playing for him?
Scary, one word. You hear so many stories. You see his press conferences, the way he flips out sometimes, and, it was all from afar, but to see it firsthand, to see it close up.
Is it different behind the scenes than the guy that we get to see in these press conferences?
Yeah, he's a gentleman. He's a nice man. He knows his stuff. He works on the mind, not only, to get your psyche right, but your conditioning. And we were talking about his practices. It's skate until you see concrete coming through the ice, and he wants the team to be the best in shape team in the league, and that starts in training camp. His training camp is by far the hardest one I've done. 2 years, and I don't think I could have done a third. So, he just grinds you until you're kind of mentally weak, physically weak, and then he builds you up, and into the guy that the team that he wants to build that year. So, give this guy a lot of credit. He's coached through, the hooking and holding, all that kind of stuff, to no red line, to now a speed game, and he's flourishing in I guess those three different eras of hockey.
Yeah, and you mentioned the conditioning and the practice before your very first game with him behind the bench against the Devils. Yeah. And after the first period, he told you guys what in the room?
Well, the practice was about an hour and 10 minutes, and it was just pure skating, and we're all sucking wind, going to the bench for water. They had to refill the water bottles, I think, a couple times, and, after the first period, it was 0-0, but the Devils just took it to us. Bob stood on his head, and he comes in there, and, the little guy's pacing around the room, and he's like, "I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry." And we're like, "Why is he apologizing to us?" He goes, "You guys are so tired out there. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, I promise you guys will be in shape, but I apologize the way that, you're playing out there. But just stick with me, boys. Stick with me. We'll get there." Second period comes around, and he goes, "I apologize, guys. I worked you guys too hard yesterday, but just stick with me." And we end up winning a low-scoring game. So it was just funny how, I guess, out of shape we were, but it ended up paying off. And
trust the system.
Yeah, look at the team now.
All right, 600 wins for head coach John Tortorella.